Hi everybody. Sorry it's been a while since I made a video. I've been really busy lately. Just trying to adjust to my new class schedule. It's and adjusting to the new school year, which is a little bit difficult because it's it's just, everything's different. I have to learn how to work with a couple of new teachers. I have to learn how to work with teachers who don't have the same students as they had last year, that kind of thing. And I just finished my first week of classes last week, and I haven't taught all of the classes once yet. For example, I haven't taught any of the first or second graders at either of my schools yet. I'm a little bit nervous about that because I mean, I'm always a little bit nervous about teaching the youngest kids because even though they're the ones who are kind of most excited about English, it's just like I want to make sure that they're engaged and that we do something that they find interesting. Which isn't, I don't know, maybe sometimes I think that what's planned won't be as fun as it actually turns out to be. But also because I don't want to introduce something that's too difficult for them. I think that's the hardest part. I just don't want them to sit there staring at me, all confused because they have no idea what I'm talking about. So that's what makes me a little bit nervous. So I'm actually teaching my first and second graders tomorrow, Monday, and hopefully that'll go well. Now, of course, the first graders are new first graders, like just out of preschool. I haven't actually really met any of them yet. I've sort of not, I haven't really intentionally avoided them, but I thought that I didn't want to, I didn't want to attract too much attention. I didn't want them to kind of like get distracted or scared or nervous because there was, a foreigner at their school. And, just wait until wait until the first English class for them to finally meet me. So, yeah, I'll meet the first graders at one of my schools tomorrow, and then I'll probably meet the other ones next week. Yeah. Sorry, I'm a little bit tired. It's been a long week and tiring weekend. So I got Dynasty Warriors 7, what, 2 weeks ago? When did I get it? I've had it for about a week now. I like it a lot. It's really fun to play. I guess I'll just use this video to talk about Dynasty Warriors 7 because, other than classes, like nothing else is really going on. But yeah, I've been playing Dynasty Warriors 7. Like, I would come home from work and just, put my stuff down and play for a couple of hours. And I've actually been trying to limit my playtime over the weekend because my place is a little bit messy right now and I have to try to clean it up. But yeah, I've been playing Dynasty Warriors 7 and I'm very satisfied with the game. There's just a few problems, like a few, I guess, pet peeves that I had with the game. For one, the online play is really nothing to talk about. It's probably it's probably long overdue having online play, because all the online play is, if you've ever played Dynasty Warriors, um, like you can play. It's meant to be a one-player game, but you can have a second player in the game. All online play is that second player can be someone online, and that means you don't have to play split screen, which kind of got on my nerves. Like, playing split screen can be kind of frustrating because that means you only have half of the area to look around. And but yeah, um, yeah, online play, it's really no big deal. I've been playing with my brother online. That's pretty fun. Um, it's just we've been doing some of the earlier or some of the easier battles, so that means the battles just take half as much time as they would if we were by ourselves. But probably when we get more of the map cleared, we'll do some of the more difficult battles together, and that will hopefully be better. Um, it's not like Strike Force, it's not like Dynasty Warriors Strike Force where you can have up to 4 people playing together online, which, I kind of liked that. The game itself just plays differently, but I kind of liked having 4 people play online. I kind of wish that was the case with 7, but it's not, so I don't know, maybe they'll do it for 8 if there's an 8. What other problems did I have? This wasn't really a problem per se, but just one thing that I would like to see, if they make another game, is having maybe an alternate storyline, because each of the kingdoms has one storyline, and it follows the actual book Romance of the Three Kingdoms very closely. So everything happens, um, you know, kind of as it happened in the book, with just a few changes. But so I kind of like that. I learned, or not really learned. I learned some things about the story, or kind of reminded of a few things about the story. But I kind of wished that they made an alternate story mode available, because in past games, if you played as a kingdom or as a character, in the end, that kingdom would end up winning, um, even if it didn't actually happen in history. But you play as Wei Kingdom, and Wei Kingdom end up ruling over China, and it was all nice and peaceful and whatever. But playing these storylines, I mean, I don't want to spoil anything for anyone that doesn't have the game and plans to get it, but because it goes more closely with the actual story, the actual novel, um, you don't exactly get happy endings. Um, I guess they try to make the endings as positive as possible, but you don't exactly get a happy ending. Um, so it's. I think I would like to see an alternate outcome. Even if it didn't actually happen in the novel, to see an alternate outcome. So if they created like an alternate storyline, that would be nice. I mean, I can't say Conquest Mode actually does that. Um, I mean, it doesn't have a flowing storyline, so it's just like individual battles you play. But yeah, that would be nice. The voices are better. Um, just a few that kind of bother me. Um, the I don't know. Most of the voices are somewhat consistent. Still don't like Gan Ning's voice. He doesn't sound rough enough for what I think he should sound like. He sounds too nice. What else? Cao Cao, I think, has one of the best voices. I actually like listening to his voice. It's very ambitious, um, very fitting with the character. The one voice I hate the most, and it's like with Dynasty Warriors 7, you know, it's kind of like this revolution in Dynasty Warriors games, and you kind of want to keep the voices, you know, the familiar voice. You want to hear the voices that you've become familiar with. And the one voice that was significantly changed was Sun Quan, and it really bothers me. His voice, I mean, I never really cared about him as a character because um, I don't know, I didn't really just didn't care for him. Like I'm a fan of Wei Kingdom, and he was part of Wu Kingdom, but like I remember his voice very well because he's, you know, like the first, I guess the first emperor, and so you know he has a significant role in the storyline, and they really changed his voice, and it's not just that they changed his voice because some voices do change because they can't seem to keep anything consistent throughout the series, but his voice, not only did it change, it just doesn't, like, the voice does not match his look. I mean, if you've heard him before in past games, like this new voice just does not match his look. And not only that, but I just think it's horribly done. I just think the voice itself is horribly done. You know, I feel like I could have done a better job, but I mean, probably not. But I mean, I just think I just thought it was very poorly done. It just doesn't fit at all. He sounds like an old man, and he sounds older than his older brother, which is just weird. But yeah, I do miss his old voice a lot. It's a pain going through the Wu storyline and having to hear that voice. Like you know, I was comfortable with most of the voices to the point where I could play without Japanese voices, even though the Japanese voice download is supposed to be out soon. But that one voice makes me want to just switch over to the Japanese voices because it's just so bad. You know, I could deal with all the other ones, but I just think Sun Quan's voice is really bad. Um, let's see, is there anything else? Other? Oh, just a few things, I guess, about weapons. You would think that certain characters would be more competent or less competent with certain weapons. Um, Seeing as how Zhou Yu is very skilled in the fine arts, um, you know, as far as, you know, music, you know, as well as strategy. Seeing as how he's supposed to be adept in musical performance, that kind of thing. Um, Apparently, he only gets 2 stars. Like the max for weapon ability is supposed to be 3 stars. With 3 being the best, 2 is like, yeah, they can use it, and 1 is like not so well. You would think that someone like him would do really well with a flute. Now, if you don't know Dynasty Warriors, you know, you might think it's weird to fight with a flute, but if you've been playing for a while, you recognize that a flute is one of the weapons. So anyway, you would think that Joyu would be 3 stars with a flute. He's only 2 stars with a flute, but he's 3 stars with a harp, which I just find really odd. But then there's other characters. I don't remember the specifics, but there's just, like I said, it's just weird. Like there's some characters you would think they'd be better with certain weapons. Oh, the biggest problem I had, Sun Shangxiang. She's known in the story, like in Romance of Three Kingdoms, she's known as being the bow princess. the Bow Princess. This is why they switched her wheels, which some people inaccurately call chakrams, but that's why in Dynasty Warriors 6 they switched her wheels to a bow, because she's the Bow Princess. She's supposed to be able to use a bow. So you would think that even if they switched her weapon back to the wheels in 7, that she would also be 3 stars with the bow. She's not 3 stars with the bow, she's only 2 stars with the bow. But I gave her a bow anyway. Just like, she's the Bow Princess. Why didn't you make her 3 stars with the bow? You didn't have to make it her primary weapon, but it didn't. That doesn't mean you could only make it 2 stars. You could have still made it a 3-star weapon, and yet they didn't. So that kind of annoyed me. Not to mention that the wheels aren't as good as they were in from 5 back. Like, she was one of my favorite characters to fight with because her moveset was really awesome. And now the wheels aren't really that good. At least I haven't gotten used to them yet. I don't really like the wheels as much as I used to. A lot of the weapons aren't really as good as they used to be. I don't know. I guess some of my favorite weapons now, like before, my favorite weapons, like my favorite characters to use were always the odd ones. Xin Shang Xiang. Um, who else? Zhang He, which some people pronounce as Zhang He. Sorry, I have to try to pronounce it correctly, even though I don't speak Chinese, but I'm trying to stay close to accuracy. But the one with the claws, he's my favorite, and his claws, it's kind of hard to get used to his claws, but I mean, I still like them. But you know, I liked him. He was my favorite. Who else was my favorite to fight with? I mean, I had a few others, but a lot of them were like the weird characters. But yeah, like some of the weapons just aren't as good anymore, or they're different. I guess it just takes some getting used to, but they're different. Um, Unfortunately, the staff, which was introduced in 6 with Zhou Yu, unfortunately, the staff is not as good as it was in 6, because the staff was really good when Zhou Yu had it in Dynasty Warriors 6, and now it's like really weak. It's a very weak weapon. I have it, they changed Yue Ying's weapon. She used to have a war pike, and then they changed it to a bow, and now she has a staff. And she's very weak with that staff, which is really disappointing because I really like the staff. Yeah, the bow is still okay. The twin axes are, I would have to say that 2 of the easiest weapons to use are the double Volge and the twin axes, because they're fast and they hit a lot of enemies at once. And so I was playing Wei storyline with like some of the stages with Zhang Liao, and he has the twin axes, and it was just so easy. Like, he didn't even need an alternate weapon because the twin axes were just so awesome. Same thing when I was playing Shu with Zhang Fei, like with the double Volge. That's just, you know, really easy. Spear is also pretty good. Like, a lot of the weapons I didn't care much for in the past, I like now. With a few exceptions. I still don't really like the War Fan. I still am not crazy about the Shaman Rod, which is even, like, it was never that great with Pang Tong with his staff before, and now he's just even more difficult to fight with. Yeah. The War Fan isn't as good. I haven't tried the Iron Fan yet because I have not tried either of the 2 Chows yet, because I don't like them. Because they're kind of whiny and cute. Well, the older one, she's okay. The younger one gets on my nerves. Like, she's really annoying. So I dread having to use her because I can't stand her. I've tried a few of the other weapons. The nunchaku are okay. Not as good as they used to be, but they're okay. So yeah, yeah, that's what I've been doing. Playing Dynasty Warriors 7. Going to work, coming home, playing Dynasty Warriors 7. Accidentally skipping meals, which happens a lot, but I mean, as long as my body doesn't command me to eat, sometimes it just ends up happening. Anyway, my throat is starting to hurt, so I'm gonna stop talking. And sorry if you're not a Dynasty Warriors fan and you didn't find this video interesting. Don't comment on this video saying, I hate Dynasty Warriors, it sucks, because you're most likely some loser who like stopped playing around Dynasty Warriors 2 or 3 and know absolutely nothing about the series anymore and all of the changes that have been made. So yeah, just if you're gonna complain about it, just keep it to yourself. I don't care what you think if you don't like the game. If you do like the game, good. Maybe we can talk about it or something. Or not, whatever. But yeah, if you don't like the game, I really don't care. Okay, so that's it. If something else comes up, I'll make another video. Sorry for the about 2 week delay. And I'll talk to you later.